Ladies and gentlemen, in the status quo of America today, we see that in S&M sex is actually really happening in today's society. Just what is happening now in America is that the government is actually having this inability to actually come up with laws to actually help regulate or actually legalize this whole process. And this is why the proposition today is fighting to legalize all forms of S&M sex. However, our policy today is to legalize this form of sex, but discourage really extreme forms of it through education, through the education system in America, where they have sex education under the category of health education, where the teachers will actually teach them about the consequences of having extreme forms of this form of sex. And ladies and gentlemen, we would like to make it very clear today that if the consequences are being put forth to the person of having S&M, and if they want to take it to the extreme and they know about the consequences, we really cannot do anything about it. Because we see that in America, it's a very liberal country where there is basically, they are actually given the right to choose on their freedom of choice. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to question the opposition to tell us what is so wrong and so different about S&M sex when in comparison with that to ordinary sex. It is also maybe the same because firstly it is consensual, and it is also because of personal preference. And ladies and gentlemen, they also have to prove to us to show why must we actually ban their their sexual preferences in America. Because firstly, in America, what I've said already, it's a freedom of choice. And we don't see that the government has the right to actually infringe on their privacy in their bedroom, ladies and gentlemen. And we also would like to ask them, like, if it's illegal, what will the government do, like, when they are caught? Okay. Now, I'll be talking on two main points today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be talking on the point of personal preference and having a better control over this form of sexual act. Now, my second speaker will be talking about freedom of choice and power assertion. Now, moving on to my first substantive today, where I'll be talking on the better control of the government over this form of sexual act. Ladies and gentlemen, in society today, society of America, you must acknowledge that S&M sex is really happening, whether you want it or not. And if we actually legalize this kind of sexual acts, the government would then be able to have a better control over this kind of sexual preferences. And moreover, ladies and gentlemen, by actually legalizing it, you're actually giving the government a better grasp as it can implement educational schemes in the education system to actually educate the people.
On your first bill, Isa.
Yes, ma'am.
Education still can be implemented without legalizing S&M.
Thank you.
Sorry, ma'am, I really didn't get your point. But for what you said about education can be implemented, but we are actually, since it's already going on, why must you legalize it? Is to provide a better control of the government so that the government can actually regulate, to come up with rules and regulations. Down there. Okay, actually we can implement new educational schemes in the education system to actually educate people to discourage extreme forms of S&M. Moreover, like in comparison, ladies and gentlemen, how we actually discourage premarital sex in America, but we know that it is already ongoing and it cannot be removed. Then in health education, ladies and gentlemen, the education system, the students are actually still being given condoms. So it tells you a lot about what the government can do like that. Now, moving on to my second point on personal preference. Ladies and gentlemen, you must understand that different people have different preference on sexual preference. Some might prefer oral sex, some might prefer anal sex. And it's up to the individual to decide what type of sexual stimulation they want to receive. What right does the government or the society have to decide on what they want to receive in their bedrooms? They have actually no right to infringe on their sexual preferences and their privacy in their bedrooms. And we believe that S&M sex is actually no different from ordinary sex, because is consensual and it's just about pleasure. It's just taking ordinary sex to another level, which we believe